Hello everybody and welcome back to another crypto video. My question of today is, what country are you guys watching from? And today I want to talk about something which I've wanted to do for a little while now, and that is the supply issue that crypto has been having. Or in another sense, it is also a demand issue, but we'll talk more about that as this video goes on. I want to first of all also say, we are giving away 100 XRP every single day if we can get 1,000 likes within 24 hours, and there's just 4 steps. Make sure you press the like button, make sure you are subscribed, make sure you comment something down below. If you've done that, you're already entered, but also guys, check out the Discord, a link is down below. It's a pretty cool place, right? Just check it out. Having said that, first of all here, I want to talk about the total circulating amount of Bitcoin. Why? Well, we've discussed this a couple of times before, but after a halving, generally a couple of months later, prices of crypto do well as scarcity kicks in. And I finally learned how to say that word. A lot of you guys kept correcting me, saying it's not scarcity, but scarcity. All right, I try my best. Without further ado, though, this is actually a very important metric because this also kind of shows us where Bitcoin is heading and how much is being added every single day. Well, you don't even have to check this out. There's multiple other places where you can check how much Bitcoin comes up every single day, and it's about 900 or so. All right, so every single day, 900 new Bitcoins are mined, or maybe just a little bit more, but that's about the idea. Now, what's with that though? What's with that number, and what's going on, and why is it bad, or why is there a crisis like I just kind of explained? Well, at this rate, Grayscale will own 3.4% of all Bitcoin by January 2021, and that was set in June, all right? They have actually really upped the stakes right now, and it's pretty damn heavy what I've been noticing, all right? So Kevin Rook here, a little while ago, a couple months ago, said, unbelievable, Grayscale added 20,000 BTC to their Bitcoin trust since last week, 53,000 BTC since the halving. Bitcoin miners only produced 7,000 Bitcoin since last week, 39.5 thousand BTC since halving. That's almost 400,000 Bitcoin under management for Grayscale BTC. So basically they're buying a huge amount, whilst the amount that is being mined is definitely a little bit less than that. And how is that interesting, or how does that work? Well, consider it this way, right? There is a circulating supply of Bitcoin, which you can see if you press it right here. You can see it on the right, circulating supply, and this can go up to at maximum 21 million at, in this case here right now, a rate of, let's see here, there's 144 blocks per day that are mined on average, and there's 6.25 Bitcoin per block. That's the block reward, which gets halved every so often. We've seen that before, right? Before it was, again, 12.5, and now a couple of months ago, like we just saw here, instead of 12.5, it reduced to 6.25, which you can see was around May of 2020. So before that, they were mining more Bitcoins a day. Right now, they're mining a lot less. And the point is, Grayscale is still keeping out their buys, and they're actually increasing it, even though the amount of Bitcoin that's being mined has decreased as well. And that's not just one article, not just one place in time that they've been doing this. They've been doing this for a longer while, and it's actually most likely going to be continuing on for a very long time. And the thing is, as of this point, they're buying new Bitcoin. So out of the circulating supply, they're just buying what gets added. You know, so it's not like they're taking control over all the Bitcoin that are already there, but they're taking control over the new ones that are coming on, so it's not really a big issue, you would think. However, they're also denting into this circulating supply piece by piece because, again, there's not enough. And that's just Grayscale, all right? Here was everything you need to know about the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust has been grabbing headlines in recent months. Here's how it works and what it means for the crypto space. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is a financial vehicle that enables investors to trade shares in trust holdings, large pools of Bitcoin. Shares in the fund track the price of Bitcoin, but only roughly, and Grayscale also offers several other exchange-traded products such as Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, XRP, and whatnot, Stellar, a couple others as well. But this one here also explains how much Bitcoin they're holding and how it is expanding. Look at this one. The Grayscale Bitcoin Trust holds 450,000 Bitcoin, or 60% of the 780,000 Bitcoin held by publicly traded companies, according to BitcoinTreasuries.org. That's already an interesting part, and the thing is, as I just said, guys, this is only increasing. They just got another ad out as well. I don't know if I have that open here. Grayscale dusts off its Drop Gold campaign with fresh ad push. They've been doing ads for a little while, and they're continuing that on, once more increasing the amount of money that's going to be invested through their trusts. Grayscale acquires $1.06 billion worth of Bitcoin, almost twice more Bitcoin mined in 2000. Wait, let me rephrase that. Grayscale acquires $1.06 billion worth of Bitcoin, almost twice more Bitcoin mined in November 2020. Grayscale fund spearheaded by Barry Silbert has gained twice as much Bitcoin in November as was generated by miners, 55,015. That's $1.06 billion worth of Bitcoin. So that's interesting, right? Once more, I'm just trying to tell you guys all of this. There was just 27,000 mined and there's 55,000 bought by Grayscale. All right, so now that you've kind of gotten a little bit of an idea of what's going on, that Grayscale is buying a lot, which in turn is a very good thing, don't get me wrong. Like, all this stuff is generally positive for us as holders of crypto, as right now it's just Bitcoin, but eventually it will also get to different crypto that they're going to be purchasing en masse. And as long as it's a crypto with a hard cap, it doesn't really matter because, well, the more that they're buying, the better it is for us. But you got to kind of consider that they're selling these things on their platform as well, right? They're selling them in trusts, so it's not like they're completely gone out of the system, but they're selling them, or at least they're buying them to sell them on their own platform. It's not anymore in the normal circulation though. You know, it's not like normal people have control over those coins anymore. And most likely, if they're ever on Grayscale, they're never going to be going out of there, which is the big issue. And it's not like Grayscale is the only one, as look at this one right here, all right? PayPal bought 70% of all newly mined Bitcoin last month as demand rockets. This was from November 2020. And so, I don't know if you guys know anything about math, but this does not line up. If Grayscale has bought double the amount of Bitcoin mined and PayPal bought 70%, you know, that's 270%, which is, again, meaning that they are buying or denting into the amount of Bitcoin circulating supply. And this got 260,000 views. That's insane. I never have seen an article with that many views before on a page. That's insane. That's completely crazy. However, the idea is pretty solid and pretty damn scary to a certain degree. They are buying a huge amount. And the thing is, it's not only this one. There's another one. Together with Square's Cash App, the two companies are buying more than 100% of all newly issued Virgin Bitcoin, it says. The letter said demand for PayPal's crypto service, which runs on Paxos fiat-to-crypto exchange, ITBIT, had hit the roof. The exchange was doing a fairly constant amount of trading volume, but when PayPal went live, volume started exploding, it observed, adding, the increase in ITBIT volume implies that within 4 weeks of going live, PayPal is already buying almost 70% of the new supply of Bitcoins, which is already huge. But then consider these three things, all right? Or a couple of things, actually. Just one is that they're buying this, so PayPal is buying this, Grayscale is buying this, and Square is buying this at a rate which is unstoppable and huge. And again, there's no end coming to this. Another thing is that these funds will only be expanding as Grayscale has just gotten another $500 million injection just now in Bitcoin. At least that's just a start. It's going to be coming on in. So $1 billion here are just rookie numbers for what they'll be buying eventually within the next couple of months. At least that's my idea about it all. And also that fact that PayPal has now gone on so heavy to allow some new ways to be spending Bitcoin and stuff like that will allow the demand of Bitcoin to be only going up, or at least the usage. And thus, most likely following my own idea, PayPal will also be buying a huge sum more, all right? A huge sum more. Charles Edwards said on Twitter, this is huge. Square is selling double the Bitcoin that is made. And again, selling, in this case here, is selling on their own platform. So through Cash App, not like they're selling on the normal open markets. And now PayPal is doing the same. PayPal is almost 3 times Square. We already know Grayscale is consuming a similar magnitude. This is a Bitcoin supply crisis. Base case, expect huge price moves from Bitcoin. So look at what Square is selling, all right? Square Bitcoin sales in Q3 are 163,000, which is double the amount of Bitcoin mined in Q3. And if they're selling 160,000, that means they're also buying that, right? Logically speaking. So kind of adding this all up, they're buying, let's say, 5 times the amount of Bitcoin that is mined, while only being at a small stage of adoption. Like, I mean, this is only going to keep continuing on. Right now, there's only a very small amount of people on PayPal actually using Bitcoin, which will only get higher and higher and higher. And the same thing for Square. I think it will only get more popular as CBDCs roll out as well. And with Grayscale, I think the more companies hop on, the more other companies will want to hop on as well. And that's kind of where things become positive for things like XRP, for cryptos like that. As right now, they're buying mostly Bitcoin. We've said before in a video that there's good reasons why That is the base case. But I've also explained in a video on my channel, like on this one right here, on the what's going to happen on December 3rd. Again, baseline, nothing. We also said that in the beginning of the video here, that right now there's kind of an issue where people that are holding Bitcoin are greedy as can be, right? Which, again, is going to make for even less traffic in terms of velocity, so to speak, or how many people use the coin to spin it around. But also, Bitcoin has kind of an issue where it's really a store of value, but not that useful as a real currency. And XRP doesn't have that issue. So to a certain degree, I would say that holding XRP without ever letting go is actually less handy than doing that with Bitcoin, since, well, there's no real purpose in transacting Bitcoin at all. And from that perspective, I'm kind of afraid that people are going to be really, really hoarding Bitcoin at one point or another, which is a positive thing. I'm afraid in a positive sense, because even though volume may go down drastically eventually, again, it will go up at first like crazy because people will be buying it like crazy. But it also kind of depends on how PayPal and stuff like that are going to be arranging everything on their own quote-unquote exchanges. But we also should consider that there's not only these three companies that are buying, there's a ton of them. However, these are the three behemoths, right? And if they're already buying 5 times the amount of Bitcoin that's mined, they're only denting into this circulating supply every single day by, let's say, maybe a couple thousand Bitcoin every day. I don't really know exactly how much they're buying, but let's say a couple thousand Bitcoin every day. There's 18,000, let's say 18,500 thousands of Bitcoin, right? So you have quite a couple of days to go, you would say. However, right now it's 1,000, and eventually within a couple of months, maybe we're at 10,000 a day that they're purchasing. So those 18,000 thousands are going to be going rather quickly, as again, it already, or at least it's starting to grow with a heavy magnitude, and maybe eventually they'll be buying, let's say, 100,000 a day. So those 18 millions are definitely not going to last that long before they got the majority of them. And they might have to buy at higher prices, but I don't think they mind because, again, they're selling them eventually anyway. So whatever they buy it in for, it doesn't really matter to them. They just want to have those as backing so they can exchange things on their platform. And they're making money along anyway. It doesn't really matter for them. But once more, I think this is a very positive case for crypto, especially XRP. And I think it will do good because of that. But consider this one, right? Consider one scenario which is not that positive for people that want to transact with this and want to, do cool things with it. The greed index is at an all-time high. Bitcoin is already at quite a high price. These three companies and most likely 50,000 others, I don't even know, are buying Bitcoin at large and huge. Eventually, there will not be that many people who are really eager to sell that crypto, because the thing is, let's say that these guys go on like crazy, you're not going to be getting your hands on free Bitcoin, so with a real address anymore that simply. You're going to have to use and buy it on a platform like PayPal, because think about it this way, all right? Eventually, most people who have Bitcoin will sell it at one point or another. Even if that's $100,000, they'll sell it eventually, and PayPal and all these companies can theoretically buy forever. So let's say you've sold it. The problem is maybe if PayPal doesn't put it up on a public exchange like that for you to buy anymore, right, in a normal sense. Again, it kind of depends on exactly how they're going to go about it. There's a couple of scenarios which could take place, by the way. So it's not like this is the only thing. They could also just sell it after buying, which is, if they were to buy it for the consumers, so to speak. However, think about it. If they were to just keep buying and not selling, eventually it's only going to be the people who have never sold something that are going to have it, right? Because you can't really buy it back except for at a crazy premium from another person. But all those other people who are going to be selling it might also be selling it to institutions because they might have way bigger orders and better orders than you do. You going to get my point? So you're going to either have to go and buy it at a very, very high premium, or not at all, or just only have the ones that you've had before. And that's another reason why I'm so bullish on crypto long term, why I'm just holding on through, as I know that scarcity is going to kick in heavily at one point or another. We already saw it this run right now where people are not that eager to let go of their coins. They just want to hold on through. And that same thing will kind of flow on with time as well. There will be more demand for these crypto. All right. I cannot give financial advice, but I kind of feel as if it's so popular and obvious for most of us, but some just don't want to accept it, that it's just going to grow. And thus, I kind of feel like letting go of my crypto now is like letting go of a freaking, I don't even know what you can say, something that grows like crazy, like a snowball contest, and you just, you let the snowball roll for 10 seconds and you stop it. You're like, well, this is big enough, right? You could have just let that boy rip all the way down through the mountain, and you'd have a 5x5 snowball, or I guess a 5 diameter meters snowball, instead of your 20 centimeter snowball. And that's kind of the thing I'm pointing towards, that I'm not really planning to sell. I'm not that eager to let go of crypto forever at all, and I'm not really eager to let go of crypto to then buy it back eventually. Purely for the reason that I think these institutions are buying like heavily, they have better finances than we do. So if they can be doing that, and once more, you should also understand that even though you might say, okay, but Grayscale, they're not even using those Bitcoins themselves because they're selling them again, right? Consider this, a lot of the guys that are buying on Grayscale, so buying these trusts, they're buying these crypto at a premium already. I mean, look at Litecoin and how much they paid per Litecoin. Theoretically, they bought it for like 2,700 a Litecoin, theoretically speaking, right? The trust was represented by a lot less Litecoin than they were actually buying, so they were actually very much overpaying. But consider that, right? That a lot of these companies, they are buying the backing as well, so that means they're most likely also interested in this higher priced Bitcoin, and they're buying at the top, or at least the top that has been made right now. Another question people ask me is, do you think buying at the top is bad? I'm going to say no. Because I've said before, I've tried a new strategy now where I'm buying Bitcoin, or actually it's crypto, actually mostly XRP, by the way, every single day for at least 2 New Years. And I kind of made that vow, that promise, because I wanted to show people, first of all, that it's never really bad to just split your buys. And it's sometimes maybe better to just keep buying over a longer period of time than to buy one chunk and try to time the bottom. Because the main problem you can have with timing the bottom is that you miss it and you have nothing. And I don't want to be that guy, so I'm going to try to buy every single day. And for the people that are in the US and they want to trade crypto, once more, check out Webull, link in the description below. Also have some other cool links there, like unstoppable domains and whatnot. Check those out as well. And if you want my cool Dusty BC tracking sheet type of thing, you have to become a channel member. But that was it for today. Hopefully you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys again in another crypto video.